If you're an older saver, there is a good chance you might be clueless about your pensions and also face the risk of running out of money in retirement. I'm sorry to hit you between the eyes like that, but it's the conclusion of new research that, among other findings, concludes that savers are too scared to check their pension pots, and they're also underestimating how long they will live. I'm looking at this brand new research from People's Pension, a workplace pension savings firm. It's written up in the Daily Mail or Money Mail today. It's an article from Ben Wilkinson. I'll post a link in the description. Some hard truths about retirement planning coming up in this video. According to the People's Pension research, people are sleepwalking into retirement. The research comes almost 6 years after the introduction of pension freedoms, which allowed people unlimited access to their pension pots. There are loads of very important findings in this research that I'll look at in this video, with the goal of helping you to avoid some of the common retirement planning pitfalls. If we've not met before, hello, I'm Martin Bamford, a chartered financial planner, personal finance YouTuber and money author. On this channel, I talk about personal finance, investing and happiness. I make these videos to help you become wealthier and happier. If that sounds like a great result, click on that little red subscribe button to become part of our subscriber community. It's completely free and you'll never miss an episode. The report talks about the binary choice that pensioners have when it comes to choosing their retirement income options. They can either have what the Daily Mail refers to as costly financial advice, or they can go it alone. So right off the bat, I'm going to have to take issue with that description, costly financial advice. Yes, of course, there is a cost associated with professional financial advice, but the Daily Mail is falling into its usual trap of neglecting to talk about its value. I'll link to a video up here where I talk about the value of financial advice, and that value is significant. But on the plus side, the article in the Money Mail does warn about the risks of going it alone, because your retirement savings are usually the second most valuable asset you own after your home. The decisions you make can have a lasting and very serious impact on your financial situation later on in life. The main findings of this research included that 3 in 4 savers are on track to run out of money in retirement, and that one alone should be a wake-up call for anyone who has the common sense to think about the future. What are the implications of running out of money before running out of life? Well, in very stark terms, you have to fall back on the value of your state pension, which is a safety net, but it isn't sufficient to live a particularly desirable life in retirement. If you own property outright, and keep in mind that a growing number of people are entering retirement with a mortgage still in place, then you might be able to release some of the value of that property using an equity release product, but that's rarely a simple option either. Another finding in this research is that people have put off saving and planning for the future as they fear the truth, and just 1 in 10 are making detailed money plans. This burying your head in the sand approach is sadly very common when it comes to financial planning. We are great as humans at putting off important decision making, often not realising that by not making a decision, we're making a decision not to act. Only 1 in 20 savers, according to this research, are thinking about how price inflation will eat away at their savings. Again, I'm not surprised to read this finding. Price inflation is often known as the silent killer when it comes to financial planning. The long-term impact of rising prices means that money that was worth a reasonable amount today can become more or less worthless in the future. And with a retirement lasting 20, 30 years, even longer, even modest levels of price inflation can eat away at your wealth. And then on life expectancy, the research found that no savers thought that they would live to 100 or beyond. That's despite the official figures showing that 1 in 10 65-year-olds will live to celebrate their 100th birthdays. My great aunt passed away last week. She was 102 years old. She died peacefully in her sleep, and she missed out on the family age record. It was set by her late mother. She missed that by just a week. People are living for longer, and retirement plans need to reflect that reality. As the article points out, the introduction of pension freedoms, which allows people to withdraw money from their pension pots from age 55 onwards, creates a rather dangerous scenario where that pot of money might need to last for up to 45 years, possibly even longer in the case of my late great aunt. Whereas before it was more or less standard practice to buy an annuity with your pension pot that provided a guaranteed income for life, the more common approach today is to use flexible income drawdown that relies on a combination of investment returns and sustainable income withdrawals to make the money last. Around 1 million pension pots have entered this flexible income drawdown since April 2015. That's when pension freedoms were introduced. I suspect over the coming years we are going to see a tsunami of pensioners who run out of cash in their pension pots because the expected investment returns didn't materialise, or they took too much income each year from that pot. A big part of the work we do when it comes to retirement income planning is helping our clients understand their personal sustainable withdrawal rate. We use some very sophisticated software to assist with that process. The dangers of getting this wrong and then running out of money in later retirement should never be underestimated. This research from the People's Pension found that savers are likely to make ill-informed investment choices and take money out too quickly, meaning most will be solely reliant on the state pension by their mid-80s. Take a moment, please, to think that one through. You've got a decent level of income coming out of your pension pot for, say, 15 years, and then one day it runs dry and you have to rely on your state pension income. What does the change to your lifestyle look like at that point in time? People's Pension also warns in the report that not nearly enough savers were clued up about how they should best invest and access their retirement money. This, of course, is where it comes back to the value of advice. By all means, go it alone, but keep in mind that you need to do a huge amount of research and identify trusted sources of information before making these critical retirement income decisions. It's not simple. Part of the research looks at the behavioural side of retirement income planning and investing. They worked with State Street Global Advisors, who are an asset management firm. The report concluded that while investors are doing the best they can given the impossible task, their choices often appeared illogical and irrational. The report said members going it alone are riddled with behavioural biases that prevent them from thinking about their later years. They struggle with numbers, they have no knowledge of investments and consistently misunderstand or are ignorant of the risks they face. This situation is far from ideal. There's a comment in the article from Phil Brown from not-for-profit group B and CE, which runs the People's Pension, who says a significant number of people are sleepwalking into retirement and will have a worse quality of life in later years than could have been the case if they had been guided. People would be dismayed to arrive at a car dealer's forecourt to buy a car, be presented with a selection of parts and be told to pick a selection and build their own vehicle. So why do we expect pension customers to do exactly this? And then Alistair Byrne of State Street Global Advisors says, this research shows clearly the many challenges older savers face when making a decision about their pensions. People struggle to see beyond the near-term future and cannot always access the advice and support they would like. I hope this research serves as a bit of a wake-up call, not only for older savers who are approaching retirement age, but for people of all ages. It's far too easy to put off these retirement planning decisions, to place retirement planning on the back burner, often making excuses about the high cost of living today, which prevents us from saving enough for the future. Retirement planning is not something that should happen in isolation, but part of a more comprehensive financial plan for your entire life. I know how difficult it is to look after our future selves. That research refers to this common behavioural bias we have, which means we're more likely to make decisions to benefit our present selves, our people today, than we are to make sacrifices today for our provision tomorrow. One quite powerful approach which can help here is to picture your older self. Get one of those photo aging apps on your phone, snap a selfie, and see what you might look like when you get older. Does that change your mind when it comes to your retirement planning? Please let me know in the comments whether you think you're sleepwalking into retirement poverty or if you feel comfortable with the retirement plans you already have in place. No judgment here either way. Thank you for watching this video. Until next time, I'm Martin Bamford, and remember, when it comes to your money, the more you know, the faster it can grow.